networking meetings. So the goal of today is I'm trying to set the stage here a little bit. If this was pre-COVID, we would be having a meeting at the club office. You would get to meet us in person. We would be having, so right now would be the time where, so if you do need to go and grab yourself a glass of water, or, be getting your coffee, getting your donut, because we would have donuts.
Maybe two.
Right. Get your water, get yourself situated. The benefit of today being virtual, so we're trying it out virtual, is that you get to wear your comfy shoes. You don't have to worry about parking. No one's worried about getting lost. We can be within our own home area. I'm in Trenton today, but you can be within your own home. You don't have to worry about those next steps. We wanted to spend this time together today to introduce our new office, tell you what we're a little bit about, talk about our partnership with CLEP. Additionally, we want to engage you in family networking meetings, meaning that you really have a chance for families to share with one another what it's like. So we have people in various stages of self-direction, people who are just interested, people who are doing it. We've had this time before we were able to connect with people. We haven't had the chance lately to share with each other, to say like, hey, what have you done? Or to see people again. So we are all seeing each other on the screen, but it is pretty helpful. So our new office is really focused on telling people about what self-direction is, sharing that it's a possibility. So my first thing I'm going to do is introduce the new team that I have, and they're going to introduce themselves, and then this slide will come up with a picture of them. If Colleen can put that up when they introduce themselves, but just so you can see who they are and what office they're in, so that when you are talking to any of our staff, you kind of can put a picture to their face, or when you write into our help desk, you know that there's a real person behind that help desk and you can see who they are. So to meet our awesome team, they're going to just start with introducing themselves. So I'm going to kick it over to my assistant director. And
good afternoon, everybody. Hi, my name is Jessica Lacona. I'm the assistant director in the Office of Education on Self-Directed Services, and I am based in our Freehold office.
Gonna move it over. Go ahead.
I'm Kimberly Jessamine, and I'm a supervisor. I'm located in the Flanders office.
Hi, I'm Christine Jones. I'm also in the Flanders office.
Good afternoon, William McNeil Billups, and I'm a supervisor in the Trenton office.
Good afternoon, welcome. My name is Adam Weir. I am a supervisor, and I'm also located in the Trenton office.
Bless you.
Bless you. Hi, I'm Marguerite Lunchambin, and I'm located in the Mains Landing office.
So what you can see is we span from the northern part of the state to the southern part of the state, really trying to work with folks and seeing what community resources are out there, working with you to educate families, but also today is about families who are self-directing, who are interested in self-directing, to really get to connect with one another. So I'm going to turn it over to the CLEP staff, and they can introduce themselves and what they're about as well.
Fantastic. Thank you, Trisha. Hi, everyone. My name is Colleen McKay-Wharton. I think you all received an email from me about coordinating today's sessions. We are really delighted to be partnering with DDD in this new office and this new initiative. And as you heard in some of the emails or saw, that we will be offering these sessions monthly. So we'll talk more about those as we move along. And Melanie, I'll go ahead and turn it to you to introduce us.
Thanks, Colleen. So let me introduce you to CLEP. The Rutgers Community Living Education Project through the Rutgers School of Public Health is a dedicated team of experienced professionals, many who are family members ourselves. The entire CLEP team has a passion to explore the many possibilities of community living options with the families that we serve. CLEP supports, mentors, and guides individuals and families as they explore a person-centered approach to community living while introducing them to community-based resources. Through CLEP's partnership with the New Jersey Division of Developmental Disabilities, DDD, we are able to provide community outreach, technical assistance, and a wide variety of publications and educational webinars to individuals, families, and community organizations throughout the state of New Jersey. Please feel free to reach out to our team if we can assist you, your loved one, or a person that you support to explore community living resources. Next slide, please. So meet the CLEP team. I'll start by introducing myself. My name is Melanie McGacken, and I'm a training and consultation specialist at Brokerage CLEP. I'm also a family member. My son Logan, who's 23 years old, receives services through the community care waiver. Natalie?
Thanks, Mel. Hi, I'm Natalie Trump. I'm also a family member. My daughter Marie is in her 18th year in self-direction, directing her services and supports. I'm also a senior training and consultation specialist with CLEP. And I'm going to turn it over to Maria.
Thank you, Nat. My name is Maria Chavello, and I am training and consultation specialist as well with the Community Living Educational Project. I have served as a support coordinator and support coordinator supervisor for 11 years, and I'm trained and certified in person-centered thinking and plan writing. I have worked side by side with many individuals, families, providers, and DDD, both in the old system and in the fee-for-service model. I've gained knowledge and vast experience in connecting individuals with services and supports in self-direction that allows the person the freedom and choice to live their best lives.
Great. Anne, can you go ahead?
Darn unmute button. Hi, my name is Ann Martinelli. I'm a training specialist with the Community Living Education Project. I've been here for 12 years. I'm also a family member of a 38-year-old man who's in his 18th year of self-directing his supports and services. I'm happy to see you all here and happy to answer questions as we go along. Mary?
Thank you.
Hi, Mary Canor. I've worked in support coordination for the past 17 years. I'm also a training and consultation specialist with CLEP. I am a family member. My two sons have been in the system since they were children.
Thank you, Mary. And Laura, do you want to go ahead?
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Laura Warren, and I'm the communication specialist for the Community Living Education Project. And my job is to help get the word out about CLEP activities and partnerships. And I do that primarily through social media and emails, web communications, all of the above.
Great. Thank you, Laura. Okay, we'll go ahead and move on. Just a reminder, I know we've all gotten pretty used to Zoom over, and actually let me get this into slide mode. This might be a little bit easier. So hold on one second, folks. If you'll forgive me, this might make it just a touch easier now that we can see everything. So we are, just a quick reminder on Zoom. I think many of you know how to use this already, I will presume, but if there's something you'd like to share before we're actually sort of unraising questions and things, please feel free to use the chat box. And if you click on this, if you look to the bottom of your screen, you'll see a little chat bubble. You can just click on that and it should pop up. And I'm going to go ahead and just type a little hello, and hopefully it will pop up on everyone's screen. If you'd like to raise your hand, you can also look to the bottom of your screen, but this time to the bottom right, and you'll see a little happy face with a plus sign. If you click on that, this box will pop up and you'll see an option to raise your hand. And when you want to lower your hand, if it's already been raised and you've already spoken, then it'll say, put down your hand or something along those lines. And then lastly, just some basic reminders. I am trying to keep folks muted while we're doing the presentation. So please try to do that on your side. That way we can minimize our background noise. Please do remember to be respectful. I am no doubts about that of presenters and each other when people are sharing their ideas a little bit later in the session. And we also want to be really mindful of individual and families' privacy. So when you do share comments a little bit later or any suggestions for our future topics, to the degree possible, let's please keep that general so that we can be respectful of each other's privacy. Okay, Trisha, I will turn it back to you if you're ready. I think you're muted, Trish. I don't hear you.
Oh, here we go. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
So today's session, today is actually the first session we're doing in partnership with CLEP. We're hoping to be ongoing sessions where we've heard that families have wanted to talk with one another, to hear about what issues they've had, hear about what experiences they've had, hear about how they can make things better as we're working people to self-direct. Our new Office of Education and Self-Directed Services is I'm going to get into that a little bit more later, but really brought about the fact that we can work with people to help them see the next steps, and say that, you know, self-direction is an option, to teach people as to what it is as an option and to move forward. So today we're going to give you a brief overview of what self-direction is, very brief, because most of the families that are here today, and we're going to have a poll in a little bit that's going to talk, but a lot of folks have already been self-directing right now. And then we're going to have some shared experiences of some of the CLEP families of what they've done to self-direct. And then as well, we are going to open it up to you. Today is the session to talk about, so what do you want these future sessions to look like? When we're networking with families, we're going to go through a little bit of, towards the end of the session today, to give you an overview, a trajectory of, you know, where do we want to go with these sessions? What do we want to get out of them? What do we want to gain as family members and moving forward to learning about self-direction? What do we want to focus our energies? Because as a unit, we didn't want to just come in and say, here's what we think we need to do. We want to hear from the families that are actually living the experience. We want to hear from the people who are living the experience. And we want to hear from the people who are interested in the experience of what can make it easier, what can make it better, how can we enhance the services. So we can move to the next slide, Colleen, that would be awesome. So I've been starting every single presentation that I've been doing with a mission of the Division of Developmental Disabilities to really hone in upon why we are here, what we are doing, what are the next steps, and what is the end goal mission. So if you look on our division's webpage, you see that our mission is that DDD assures the opportunity for individuals with developmental disabilities to receive quality services and supports, participate meaningfully in their communities, and exercise the right to make their choices. So this is the why. This is the why we're here and why we're doing it. And everyone needs to be reminded of this as we move forward. So again, I've just been doing this at the every beginning of every single presentation so that we all know as to the why we're here. You can move to the next slide. Again, the core belief, and this is part of the community of practice for supporting families, that New Jersey is a member state. We're one of 19 states that are members for the community practice of supporting families. Notice that I said supporting families, not family support, because we really want to encompass the whole entire family, the person within the context of their family. Is the core belief that all people have the right, and their families have the right to live, love, work, play, and pursue their life aspirations within their communities. So really making sure that this resonates throughout every aspect as we're talking about self-directed services. Move to the next slide. So the background, a little bit of the background is that New Jersey, the Division of Developmental Disabilities, has been committed to providing people with intellectual and developmental disabilities the choice to self-directed services for over 20 years. So 20 years ago, it's crazy because some of the ladies some of you I've known for this amount of time, we sat down with a core group of family members and they said to us, if you gave us the dollars, we could do this better. And we've been building this system along the way. This was prior to fee-for-service. So prior to fee-for-service, it was all a contracted system. And then we moved to either contracted or fee-for-service. Now we're looking where the division shifted to a completely and total fee-for-service system. That's one of the other aspects that my unit was working on at one time with part of our special projects. And we're almost completely there. There's a little under 100 people who haven't moved to the fee-for-service system. And strengthen the commitment so there's more flexibility and ability to choose the services and supports that a person receives. Let's go to the next slide.
Okay.
So go ahead, Colleen.
Yep, I'm going to stop sharing for a moment. And this is just a very quick poll that I'm going to launch, and hopefully most of you can do it. The questions should appear on your screen in just a moment. So the first one is to please select the description that best applies to you. We'd like to know who's here in today's meeting. You can select whether you are personally using DDD services, maybe you're a family member or a caregiver, a self-directed employee, a support coordinator, a support broker, or you might be someone else. Maybe you're a healthcare provider, or if you work at DDD or you work with a different type of organization or someone else that I may not have included here, you can select that. The next question is, are you currently using self-direction for yourself or a family member or someone you care for? And you can indicate that. Looks, oh, you guys all got this down. Look at you all answering. Okay, you're all doing great.
This is very helpful because this will help us gauge as to the audience that we're talking to, who's
Sure.
attending as well. And also keeps you
That's right. And then
on something while I'm talking.
We're happy to hear you talk, Trish. And then the last one is, how familiar are you with self-direction? And those options, are you currently using it and you sort of understand generally how the process works, or you're here to learn more about the process. And we're especially looking forward to hearing from folks who perhaps do want to learn more about it, and we want to hear what types of things you feel might be most important, as Tricia mentioned. Okay, I'll give this another 10 seconds. It looks like we are getting quite close to a large percentage of people answering.
Alex,
and I can
is Alex here?
end the poll, and I'm going to share those results just so you can all kind of.
I have my headphones. So how do I do this? Isn't it here?
Oops, let me see if I can help someone here. Sue might be unmuted. Okay, and I'll stop sharing the poll now. Tricia, I'll go ahead back to the slides.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for participating in that. It gives us a really good gauge as to who we're presenting to, who's providing us the feedback for today and helping us create how these sessions will move forward. Again, these were something in which, you know, if it was prior to the pandemic hitting, we would have invited you all to come in. We would have brought you in. We would have had some coffee. We would have been able to chat with each other. We're hoping that this will give you all the opportunity to even look and see who the participants are. If maybe it's someone you may know, maybe you want to connect with them again. Maybe you want to ask them some questions when you're, you know, how they're doing, what they've heard. And there's some good questions coming into the chat as well right now. So that's helpful because people can provide feedback to one another. That's the whole goal of this, is to create that really nice atmosphere that we would have had if we all came into the same room and shared with each other and had been at small tables and been able to talk. So again, we're trying this out today to see how this works, and as you can gain from us as to who we are as the Office of Education on Self-Directed Service. So what is our role? We are brand new. But it was seen that there needs to be, as we move to the fee-for-service system, people weren't as available to understand what the possibilities of self-direction were. So we are providing our goal of our unit here. So the folks that we have in our team, who also houses the waiting list and special project unit as well. But the really goal of our team is to provide a centralized place for the delivery of education and training for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities receiving services, their families, advocates, support coordinators, interested community partners, and other stakeholders. So that means that if we're really trying to be that hub in which you can have the best availability to get questions answered, to have technical assistance, to be able to ask us these questions. We are staffed by subject matter experts on best practices in self-directed services. Our goal is also to provide education and supports so that people under division services can live their best lives. We really want to educate people as to the right choices as the self-direction or provider managed, help them gather the next steps and what they're looking to do. You can move to the next slide, Colleen.
Mm-hmm.
We also want to educate various stakeholders utilizing guidance and tools to benefit the responsibilities of self-direction. We want to facilitate networking sessions such as the one today. And again, we're trying this out. It's a virtual platform, but we really want people to talk to each other, to connect. We want advocates, we want providers, we want other interested parties to really connect with each other and build that human connection that we haven't been able to have for some time. And we were looking to, as the questions come in within the chat, we'll be trying to get that in as well. We have our email address so that we, you know, I wanted you to see all the staff that are staffing the email addresses, etc., so that they can, you know, you can see that there's a person at the end of every question you're going to write in and ask. So you can move to the next slide.
Mm-hmm.
We also are going to provide technical assistance for support brokerage and include agencies, people looking to select support brokerage. There will be additional sessions on support brokerage. And we are going to know that will be a focus topic for one of the sessions that's upcoming. We also engage and work to integrate information about self-direction within our service system so that everybody knows that is availability and moving to those next steps. So we really want to, if you are saying like, can you come talk to our family group, we'd be happy to do so as well. So you can go back to the next, you can go to the circles.
Yeah.
Circles.
Sorry.
That's okay. So I wanted to talk a little bit, and I'm going to start with this, and this is part of the community practice for supporting families. Really how the services and supports are evolving throughout time. So if we saw that, when we worked with somebody who had an individual with developmental disability, it was a person within their family, within their community. So it's everyone that's existing within the context of family and community. And then we saw that people were in need of some sort of additional services. So we were able to provide services to people with intellectual and developmental disabilities and within their family and the community. But what we're seeing is that people are only going towards those services that supported people with developmental disabilities. So it was almost making it isolated for the person. What we really need to see is the person is integrated within their community with the supports and services peppered throughout their system. So that's really how we want to make sure that it evolves throughout time. And as I said before, when those core group of family members said, if you gave us the dollars, we could do it better because we know what supports and services we want to create for my family member, they were able to do that. And we really want to foster that environment for people. So you can move to the next slide. So what is self-direction? And this is actually the national definition. If you look at the CMS, is that an alternative to agency delivered model. So the agency delivered model we would call provider managed. The person, not the provider, has the authority to hire, screen, train, and supervise their own staff, which we call in New Jersey self-directed employees. The utilization of a fiscal management services agency, or what you may know as the FI. And today in New Jersey, it's public partnerships or Easter seals. They're the agency with choice.
Tricia, can I interject for one moment?
Sure.
If I could trouble you to speak a little bit closer to the microphone.
Sure. Are people having trouble hearing me?
Yep, I've noticed. Thank you, Lisa. I'm sorry I didn't see that comment until
Apologies,
just
I did
now.
not see that. Is that better?
I think that might be a little better. Yep,
Okay,
thank you.
great. Typically, I'm pretty loud. In New Jersey, people can self-direct all or some of their services, which include the self-directed employees accessing an outside community program, a class, a service that's available to the general public through a community vendor through their goods and services. You can move to the next slide.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is a complete and total paradigm shift. In the past, we saw provider managed services, which again, it's an option, but it was seeing the professionals were identifying the type of supports the person is receiving. If you're choosing to self-direct, the person is the expert at identifying their needs and preferences. Is the provider managed? So I see this comment is still hard to hear. I don't know.
So I want to remind folks to also check the speaker volume on your computer as well. So Tricia, you can absolutely, elevate your voice a little if you can as you're getting closer, but do also folks check your computer. I've done that myself where I haven't had my own volume up. So
again, in the provider managed system, the traditional agencies take responsibility for employing their support workers. The agency will find your staff. In self-direction, the person is going to hire, train, and supervise their own staff or access a generic community resource. In a provider managed system, the professional is going to determine the support strategies. In the self-directed system, the person is going to be in the driver's seat. So you can move to the next slide.
mm-hmm.
If you're choosing a self-directed employee, you're going to be utilizing the fiscal management service. So in New Jersey, it's known as the FI. The self-directed employee is an option for self-directing your services and your staff. In New Jersey, we have two self-directed employee models. There's the agency with choice and there's public partnerships as well. You can find to the next slide. So the difference between the two models, there are two key differences between this. So between the AWC model, so it's the who is identified as the employer of record. So the employer of record holds the federal number, and for the agency with choice, the Easter seals is the employer of record in New Jersey. You can move to the next slide, Colleen. Again, for additional information on this, you can look at our website, and all these slides will be available to you as well. So Colleen will get that out to you if needed. But that is one of the key pieces is if you are self-directing, you are utilizing the fiscal management service for some aspect of your supports and services, not utilizing a provider. You can move to the next slide. So support brokerage. So a lot of families say, okay, it seems like a lot of responsibility that goes along with self-direction, and that's true. But support brokerage is a service that is available through both the supports program and the community care program to assist a family with figuring out the self-direction piece. So what does a support broker do? Again, we are going to have additional sections on this. They're going to assist the person or the family representative in arranging for self-directing. They're managing their services. They're going to help families to independently direct and manage their service. They're going to help develop your job descriptions, interview questions, advertisements, flyers, other recruiting material for staff. They're going to assist you with identifying and interviewing potential staff and assist with next steps and figuring out who's going to do what when. That is one of the roles that the support broker will have. So again, we will. I see some things coming in the chat saying, "Will we be able to get this?" So yes, of course, we'll get you all this next steps of information. So Colleen, you can move to the next slide. So the tenants of self-direction. So what are the pieces? Freedom, authority, support, responsibility, and confirmation. So these are the pieces that go along with self-direction. So if you are looking and you're saying, okay, so this is something that I am doing, you've gotten it. And this today is we're going to talk about how we can get families to talk to each other better and what other focus topics we want to have. And if you're looking for more additional information, you'll be able to write. And again, if you're also looking for additional information, you can write into our help desk. You can write in and one of our staff will be able to assist you, provide you technical assistance, work you through any struggles that you may be having. And if we don't have the answers, we will seek to get you the right answers or to get you an answer at least. So you can move to the next slide. So I think I'm turning this over to Mary now. And Mary's going to talk about a little bit about what self-direction is for her and what she's been doing.
Okay, so hi, everybody. So self-direction can feel overwhelming. It does take time to learn. My sons basically started when they were children because they got a what they call the respite stipend. And we used to choose the staff that we wanted to hire and pay them with that stipend. Fast forward of years, and they began self-directing officially in the system as adults in 2007. So we've been at it a long time. It does require us caregivers to explore unknown things. We tried a lot of things. We did have some epic fails, but we've also had like organized sports don't work for my guys at all. Nope. Not interested. They're more interested in a concession stand than running down the field chasing a soccer ball. But we have tried things that have worked, and individual hires really do help them a lot, and their brothers. So going separate places helps them a lot. So we have tried a number of things, and it really has created a full life for both of them. So I encourage you to take a step out and try some things with your loved one. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. I believe Maria, you might be muted.
I'm sorry.
Of course, that's okay. I figured you were muted.
Where do I begin? So the person-centered, actually, I'm so sorry. Hold on. You have supported your loved ones their whole life. You know them best and know how to support them. Based on your loved one's interests and the things important to them, you can build a full life by learning about the free resources. I'm sorry, I keep losing my spot here.
No worries. No worries.
Available in your community, as well as learning about the supports and services from DDD Qualified Providers, where your loved ones can access services by using their supports program or community care program budgets. Self-direction gives you choice, power, and control to create a full community-based life for your loved one. They can participate in activities everyone else does. It doesn't have to be segregated or disability specific. So the person-centered thinking skills and tools that will be shared with you next will help you begin to think big and outside the box. DDD Qualified Providers may be disability specific. However, many are not, such as gyms, YMCAs, community colleges, horseback riding, swimming lessons, and many classes such as art, singing, drama and theater, computer, cooking, and so many more. You are not alone. Many families have been where you are. DDD, your support coordinator, and your CLEP team is here to help you. It is important that you continue networking with other families to learn what kind of things they are doing. Your support coordinator can assist by suggesting qualified service providers in your area and in assisting you find local free resources within your community. Again, your DDD transitional case manager, your support coordinator, and the CLEP team are also available to provide guidance and support. You have a team of people ready and willing to assist you. So let's hear from our CLEP team family members about what self-direction actually looks like. Anne?
Thank you, Maria.
Thanks, Maria. And I remembered to unmute myself.
Progress.
Like Mary, we have been self-directing since Joe was very young, about 2 years old. We got our first stipend to be able to hire respite workers. And he has been self-directing his supports and services as an adult now since 2005. So we are in our 18th year also. And as I look at these photos of my son, Joe, I want you all to see what I see. Remember the tenets of self-direction that Tricia spoke about earlier? These photos demonstrate the freedom that Joe has. He has the freedom to decide what he wants to do. You can see up in the top left photo, he's at a brewery with his support staff and his sister and brother-in-law. He has the freedom to choose to go where he wants to go. The middle area over on the right, he's with one of her support staff at a concert that was held at Monmouth Park during the pandemic, that first summer of 2020. The concert, the band was live. He went to see Southside Johnny. The band was live up on a stage and everyone remained safe, socially distanced in their own vehicle and heard the music coming through their radio. He has the choice to decide who supports him. You can see 3 different support staff here with him up at the top left, and then in the middle, the 2 fellas, and then down at the bottom left, there's another fellow. And this support staff that he has chosen has enabled him to live a very full life. He helped us, my son Joe helped us deciding the questions we wanted to ask when we interviewed the support staff and how we hired them. I'm in the process of doing it all right now. I am hiring a new support person for Joe because his full-time support person will be leaving us next month. So I'm in the process, like many of you, starting all over again. And I know that I have done it before. I've done it well over the past 18 years and that I'll be able to do it again. Joe has a full life. He gets to go where he wants to go. He gets to do the things he wants to do. And it's all because of the freedom that he has through self-direction. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne. Natalie, are you be sure to unmute?
Yep. Thanks so much. Thanks, Anne. Thanks, Colleen. I refer to myself like, I guess, Anne and Mary, old timer from way back when, paved the way with Tricia to have self-direction become a reality for folks advocating. But I'd like you to meet my daughter, Marie, right now. For over 18 years, Marie has been self-directing her services and supports. And in 2005, I took her job hunting because she wanted a job and she wanted to earn money, because what was important to Marie was earning money and going shopping to spend it. So I facilitated a conversation with the manager at Taco Bell looking for a job. And you could see their photo in the top left. And he actually hired her on the spot, which was amazing. He took Marie under his wing and he taught her many job skills. He felt she could learn how to take orders at the drive-through, which I wasn't sure she could do. But boy, Marie surprised me. She did well with his guidance and she learned how to take those customers' orders. If she had trouble, she wore this headset and then she'd press the B button and Todd would come help her. So that gave her such confidence working, which was a really great thing. Todd was a natural support. He wasn't paid to help support Marie. He just was someone who was kind and was willing to help her. And that launched her work career. So Marie's had a few jobs over the many years, like most of us. She worked for 10 years at the Children's Center of Monmouth County in their kitchen. And Rose, who also worked there, taught her how to prepare the large salad bar for the school's lunch. And you could see the top right photo, Marie and Rose are sitting at a table cutting veggies. Marie was also a natural support. She was unpaid while working during the day with, while Marie worked with her during the day. But getting to know Rose, like Marie loved her. So I was like, all right, we will self-hire her. But after work hours. So she became a self-directed employee through Easter Seals using her budget. And after work, Marie wanted to, of course, go shopping at the fabric store, the Christmas tree shop, bowling, to dinners. They did many things that Marie loved to do. Marie's last job was at Ruby Tuesday restaurant, and she used her budget to take Uber. And she went back and forth to work through a Tain and Gain agency, and her Uber was paid out of her budget. I was a little nervous to do that, but I had her sister follow the Uber the first few times where we felt comfortable and Marie felt comfortable to use Uber. So remember, Marie loves to work and earn money. So COVID-19 hit and we had to think differently during that time. So you'll see in the bottom picture, Marie's laminating worksheets. And she had volunteered for many years in our town at Ocean Early Childhood Center as a teacher assistant. And I asked them if Marie could be of assistance to them somehow and work from home. They actually jumped at hiring Marie to help the kindergarten teacher, where she had to laminate the worksheets for the kids, the students, and that was easy for them to wipe and clean. She began this in October of 2020. And has been working from home, earning a paycheck till today. Currently, we interviewed at Corrado's. It's an Italian market that's going to open soon, and they hired her. So we're waiting for the construction to be done. So Marie had hopes and dreams, and her hopes and dreams came true in 2012 when she was 30, when she moved to her own apartment with a housemate a half a mile from me. And you could see, Marie at her front door in the picture. And it was really hard for me to let go, but it was important to Marie. I had to try, and I did. And the first few weeks, I was a total wreck. I called her all the time. I visited her daily, and then not as often. She started to do really well. She received a supportive housing connection voucher from DDD towards her rent. She continued working, and we had 3 wonderful self-directed employees hired on to support her. And you could see one of her self-directed employees, Michelle, assisting Marie shopping, making healthy food choices. She also had Joyce and Sarah and 2 other self-directed employees that would help her in other ways, whether it be cooking, keeping her refrigerator clean, showing her how to get rid of expired foods, things like that. They also took her to movies and concerts, visiting friends, doing things she enjoyed. And this worked so beautifully for 7 years, until Marie and her housemate hit a bump in the road and they weren't getting along. And we tried working things out, but it wasn't working. So we had to change it. So Marie asked to come back home in October of 2019. And she talks about having her apartment again one day. I know we can rebuild it using self-direction, the person-centered tools, and her budget. So she moved back home. And when she moved back home, I needed to hire someone else on board. And so we went to this agency, Royal Community Supports, to help us find staff. And they referred Stacy to us. And you can see at the far right, like in the middle, Marie with Stacy. We interviewed her, we hired her on board. They have similar interests. This is like key in hiring self-directed employees. They're a great match together. Stacy is young, she's soft-spoken, which is important to Marie. She's fun, and she's a really good listener. They attend free concerts at Point Pleasant, at Jenkinson's Boardwalk. They go to Great Adventure on the rides, to the shows, walking at the reservoir, out to eat, to the arcade, you name it. Marie and Stacy have a ball. Another one of Marie's interests is sailing. She loves the water. Her uncle takes her on a boat. And Ocean County College is a provider of services for us. And Marie uses her supports program budget. She took the Safe Sail program at Mill Creek Park in Bayville. She learned how to make knots, information on safety, about sailing. And by the end of the program, she could sail a boat on her own. So then following semester, she signed up again for Ocean County College's Night at the Races, where she raced her boat against many others. And she came in 5th place, and she was so proud. We were so excited for her. So another interest is singing. She loves to sing. And during COVID, we really had to look for services she enjoyed. And we found this amazing provider, Blue Light Music. They offer virtual lessons, and now they're back to doing in-person, but it's an option. And so Marie takes singing lessons twice a week, one-on-one with Armani, her voice coach, and it's paid through her budget. She also volunteers. Marie is a contributing member. She volunteers at her church, singing solo anthems, and she also sings with her brother and her niece and loves that. And another interest I'm going to talk about is painting. And she takes virtual painting lessons once a week through a provider that's paid through her budget, the Pickled Artist. And you can see the bottom picture far right, where she uses her iPhone and a Chromebook to hear Lorena, her instructions, and to see the example of the picture she's going to paint. She loves this. Her paintings are beautiful. She just sold a painting this past February, her first painting. And recently, Marie began participating in 2 peer mentor groups through Neighbors Inc., where she enjoys connecting and socializing with a wonderful group of self-advocates. And just to reference the Tenants of SelfDirection, you know, Marie is a contributing member in her community. She's built a life of her choosing, where she has the freedom to self-direct her services and supports and participate in the activities she loves. And it's been a real pleasure just sharing a snapshot of Marie's journey with you. I could talk and talk and talk because she does so many things, but we're here to help if you have any questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Natalie. And last one, we have Mary.
Okay, batter up. Okay, meet Matt and Dan. So my guys have been self-directing a long time, as I said, and became official in 2007, where they received a budget, and we began immediately hiring staff and getting them involved in separate activities as well as some things together. In 2012, their names came up on the waiting list, and you can see the picture of the condominium. That is where they live now, and independently with 24/7 supports. We have a team of hires that assist us with them self-directing their housing. It has been an awesome experience for them. They have the freedom to come and go with their staff without mom lurking over their shoulder every second. However, the staff do work in partnership with me. They have lots of choices now that they're in their own place. They, you know, it's a little different when they live home. They go and do things with my staff I was not able to do because I work a lot of hours and wasn't able to do that. Now they are involved in a lot of community. They, my staff have embraced them as members of their family. So that the grandma in the middle there on the left-hand side, that they call her grandma, and she makes them Sunday dinner. And they, you know, completely love her, and she welcomes them and is such a great caregiver for them. My sons were recently in my daughter's wedding, as well as their staff were a part of the wedding as well. We also did a food drive. So they've made their contribution by being part of the community. We raised 900 pounds of food for the Monmouth County Food Bank in partnership with a friend's daughter for her high school senior project. And since COVID, we weren't able to do that, but we'll be picking that up now that the restrictions are getting lifted and, you know, everything is opening up, and they'll be able to do that, I hope, this year. They also have, you know, with the waiting list, we had a choice. We were given the choice of either a group home, self-directing their own home, or, you know, additional supports at home. We chose the self-directed model, and we took it and ran with it. We did have some mistakes we made with some staffing issues, but we overcame those. And recently, my staff all now work for one agency. At one point, I had agency hires, self-hires, but it's been much easier for me personally to have them work through an agency. So I call it a variation of self-direction, but where we are choosing the staff, hiring them, through the agency, but we interview the staff before they're hired. We give them a list of the qualifications and the personality traits that they need to have in order to work with my guys. So it's been working out quite well. So thank you.
Yeah.
Next.
Thank you, Mary.
Mhm.
Okay, Trisha, are you there? And unmute yourself if you haven't.
Here. So,
And come a little closer to the microphone, Trish.
can you hear me?
I can, but just stay
Okay,
close. Yeah.
awesome. Just making sure that everybody can hear me. Again, we are going to be answering your questions through the chat. And if you have additional questions, we do want you to send them into our self-direction help decks for our education piece, so we can provide additional information as well. I just saw a question that came up through the waiting list. Our staff will be answering that as well, because we also do look at the waiting list, and we are the waiting list unit as well. So what we're going to do next, and I'm hoping this works, because typically this would be a room, and I would have a big board like I have on my wall here, and we would do this together in a big board. But we really want, families have said we want to talk to the other families who are self-directing. We want to hear who else is self-directing. We want you to hear our problems. We want you to hear what's not working and what is working. And as the unit that is going to be focusing on this, we want you to hear the next steps. But for these next sessions, so this is a life trajectory, and this is the planning tool that some of you have used for your son or daughter, or sister or brother, or yourself. I've used it on myself many times. But we're going to do it today. We're going to do it. We have a Jamboard session. So Colleen is going to facilitate the Jamboard. Wait, you can go back to the slide real quick.
Oops, sorry, I thought you were sending me. You're back.
Because we're going to talk a little bit about what we want for these next upcoming sessions. These stemmed from, we knew that as a unit, we needed to help facilitate families to talk to one another, because who else can you work with best than another person who's doing this, and maybe within your area, or we can all talk about what's worked for another family or what we've experienced. But we also know that as a group, we wanted to facilitate these sessions because I was talking to another actually it was quite many months ago, and they said, I wish we just had self-directed talk, so we all talk about where the issues are, what we would like to have happen, and we can all share together, and the different focus subjects, so what we want to have happen. So these networking sessions, so this trajectory that we're doing today, so what we have up on the screen, we're going to do this about the networking session. So today is our planning for our next session. So what we want this to happen, because we know as a unit, as the Office of Self-Directed Education, is that we need to sit back for the first bit and listen, and just listen to where the problems are. Listen to what's really working for folks so we can enhance that, and just figure out what next steps are and help you as families create these next sessions. So they're going to be occurring on Tuesdays around this time. And also we want to hear, does this time not work? What works next steps? So this next bit with the Jamboard is we're going to talk about focusing this trajectory on vision for what we want about these next sessions and what we don't want. So Colleen, you can move to the next slide now. Sorry about that. So vision for not just a good batch of networking sessions. What don't we want to have happen? I can tell you right now, I don't want these to be a session in which they feel like people are wasting their time. We want people to have a positive and productive experience about this. We want people to get together and share, as you would, and I keep referencing this, but as you would if we were together in person. You would talk to the person next to you. You would gather a cup of coffee. We want you to start sharing with each other. So we are going to open this up and enable you to raise your hands and share with each other. And we are going to have copies of all the things in the chat. So for this next bit, we are going to let you unmute yourself, or we're going to ask that you do raise your hand at the same time, so we can call on you. We're going to put together some themes of what you'd like. So we know that, so this trajectory, it's not for the individual today. The trajectory today is for this next batch of networking sessions. What do you as families who are self-directing or are looking to self-direct, what do you want? What do you want from us from these networking sessions? What do you want them to look like? And we know that we've heard already, even in the chat, that we want a session on support brokerage. So we will have a session in one of our upcoming sessions on support brokerage. We know that families are going to want a session with the fiscal management agency, so that they can come and talk to you about the experiences and talk to them as well. What we don't want to have happen is to have these sessions feel like they're not worth attending. We want you to tell us, what do you want out of these sessions? So Colleen, can you start the Jamboard?
Okay, let's.
So raise your hand, share with us. Like if this was a meeting where you were all in the table around me, I'd be calling on you and saying, hey, if you've raised your hand. So Robert's raised his hand. So Robert, go ahead.
Yep. Hold on, Robert.
Well-
Give me 1 second, Robert. Wait, hold that thought. Let me
Okay.
get to the screen so we can capture. Here's what we're going to be doing is we're Laura, Melanie, myself, and Maria. We're going to try to capture your comments and put them up on the screen. You'll see that in a second. Some folks we'll put them in the comment chat box. That's fine. We'll capture those also and put them on the screen. As Patricia said, what we really want to do is kind of hear exactly where those sticky points are moving forward. That way we can address those topics in a little more depth in future sessions.
And if this was, we're trying to use this, we're trying this out. So if this was, and those of you who have worked with me before, I love to use, and we joke about this because I like the wall charts and markers, etc. So, one year I asked for markers for Christmas. So I can't do that this way. So this is the way we can all virtually connect. And I really think that this is essential that if we're going to create this, it has to be built from what the families are looking for, what the people who are utilizing the service are looking for these sessions to create, and go from there.
Hi, everyone. You may have noticed that during the recording of today's virtual open house for our self-direction series, there was a pause as we began our brainstorming session where we started to ask for feedback from people on what they may want to see in future sessions. And we did that just so we can maintain the confidentiality of individuals who may have had some ideas or thoughts that they wanted to share and not have it recorded on a webinar. So I am just sharing with you the outcome of this brainstorming session. And these were really a wonderful collection of ideas and suggestions on what participants were interested in hearing about in future sessions. And again, this series is called Sharing Possibilities in Self-Direction. And these are these monthly conversations. So we were very appreciative of the great conversation and the ideas that came out of this opportunity to brainstorm some ideas. So I just wanted to share that here, and we'll also share a PDF file of this board that you're seeing right now. That way you can take a slightly closer look at it. Thanks so much. Just chat box so that we don't miss anything. Thank you all. Okay, so let me just get back to the slide so that you can see the contact information. Again, don't sweat it if you can't grab it all. So this slide here has all of the CLEP information and contact. You'll have it, don't worry. But if many of you talked about housing and wanting to maybe explore that option, the Community Living Education Project really focuses the majority of our time on that and helping people explore varied community living options and what that can look like. So feel free to reach out to us at any time. Tricia, do you want to share anything else about this?
Just that this is our information. So this is our unit, this is our team. So if you do have questions, you can always write into any of us. And again, you will have copies of the slide deck. I am glad that all of you participated today, that you joined us in this session. Because again, we were wanting to have families have that connection. Weren't sure how it was going to work out virtually, but knew that if it was virtual, at least everyone would be comfortable. No one would have to worry about parking. No one would have to travel. So we wanted to really have that human connection again, even though it is over the virtual platform. But at least then we wanted you all to hear us. We're here to listen to you right now. So this is our time of listening and figuring out next steps.
And our last one, just a slightly larger version. It might be, we may have shared that website before, but one more time, we're giving you the website and the email. And I'll just plop that in the chat box if anybody wants to grab it now, but don't worry if you don't.
And I do want to encourage people to contact each other. So that was one of the goals of I know such the value that you have with connecting with each other, whether it be if this was a bigger session where we had people next to each other, you had that conversation with the person you're getting a glass of water next to, and then you meet them and then you talk to them. So really, as people are typing in the chat and saying different, sharing different resources, continue to share with each other. We wanted to create that medium so that you're not worried about picking up the phone. You've seen the person's picture and you're like, hey, I saw you at that session. Can you provide that additional information? You talked about, we heard Natalie talk, you talked about what you did here. How did you get that? What did you do? What didn't work for you? We want you to start sharing with each other. We want to foster community so that families can feel comfortable to share with each other.
Okay, well, if there's nothing else from anyone here, I will just say certainly on behalf of CLEP that we are so appreciative of you all taking the time. We know how difficult and limited time is, and we could not have asked for better feedback on the Jamboard.
Thank you.
We were a little nervous. We didn't know how that would work, but
No, not at all. Wanted my marker and my board.
Right. Trisha was dying to write on her computer screen, but at least we really got some great direction. So I will tell you that we do have a couple of the most immediate sessions coming up, just because you do need to plan for those things. We do have a couple of those topics that you've raised actually already in the planning, which is great, and I'm happy to be able to say that. But you also brought up a bunch of other ones that were not on our radar. So that's even better. Those are the things we really needed to hear. Okay, well then I thank you all for coming. Thanks for joining the party. And
thank you, everybody.
We'll all see you next week. Watch for the info coming out a little later this afternoon. Thank you all.